So I have arrived. This wasn't on one of my original destination points for this trip down south, but I had looked on my maps that I had marked through the years and realized that this place, this Germantown Colony, was on my maps to visit, and I just recently added that spot. Because if you know my stories or have heard me tell stories about the Harmonites, Harmony, I'll just walk around and show videos, but Harmony in Pennsylvania and then New Harmony, this group called the Harmonites or Rapites, and they moved to New Harmony, Indiana, and they moved back to Old Economy in Pennsylvania. Well, after they moved back to their third home in Pennsylvania, Old Economy, here's one of the homes. They moved about 250 of the Harmonites followed a German named Count Leon. His name was Mueller. George Mueller, not George. Forget his first name, Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R, like Miller, but German. And so those 250 people moved. They split off. The reason, one of the biggest reasons they split off, because if you remember my stories, the Harmonites adopted a vow of celibacy. And so this Mueller came in. One of his things was that you didn't have to be celibate to follow Christ, and so 250 of George Rapp's followers followed this Mueller, and they set up a little town, a little village, commune, not very far from Old Economy, still in Pennsylvania. Well, there were some disputes between the Harmonites and the Muellers, and so Mueller decided to move to Louisiana in a place that I'm going to visit next called I forget the name of the little place, but that's where I'm going to visit next. It'll come to me, Grand Ecore on the Mississippi River. So they settled there originally, and I think this was, so Mueller, after about a year and a half in Grand Ecore, died of yellow fever and dysentery, I believe. No, cholera. And so after he died, like he was the leader of the group, his wife and the rest of the followers, there were about 30 to 40 people that lived here in Germantown. You walk around some more and get some more pictures. So she moved here with those followers and settled this town. And I'm not sure how long they were here. And then after a point, I forget now what caused her to move to another area, but then she ended up moving to Hot Springs. Well, there are still descendants of the Rapites and the Harmonites right there. I can't see his name, but that right there is Mueller. And this is the museum that sits on the old Germantown colony. So I knew they were going to be closed today. I actually talked to Catherine Poole, who is married to a descendant of Mueller, and she works here she's one of the tour guides here at the Germantown colony. I should probably take some pictures because I'm just doing video. I'm going to take a quick picture of Mueller's picture and take a picture here. Take a picture of that cabin. Like I said, these cabins were here during the Countess her time here. There's one right there too. I'll take a picture of Mueller. Even though I've seen this picture, actually I didn't know this part of their history until I had went to Harmony. And I was talking to one of the tour guides, and she said, yeah, a group split off of the Harmonites and followed Mueller down here to Louisiana. So the reason why they came here, I forget now. I'm not sure if this was the latitude or Grand Ecore was the latitude, but one of those sites that they moved to down here, it has the same not the same coordinates, but the same longitude, maybe the same latitude, I'm not sure which. There's another one of the buildings. As Jerusalem, and they were looking for the return of Christ, and they believe that if they moved here, Christ was going to meet them here. So, oh shoot, this is a sugar press right here. I saw a picture of that. That's a sugar press. From that time, they used this machine for a sugar press. But you can see this is one of the buildings they had. I think this might have been one of these buildings were the home of the Countess when she moved up here. There are several other buildings, but they have fallen into disrepair. The state of Louisiana runs this as a historical area, so they made them tear down some of the more decrepit buildings. I'll take some pictures of these before I get out here. So some of the group left here. Some went to Hot Springs. Some went to a place in Missouri, and I have the town written down, but it's left my mind. And then the other. So this was Mueller's family that inherited all this property. And it was just sitting here. They knew about the history in the buildings, but it just kind of was left to just fall apart. And someone researched the history and realized what a gem it was. And the state of Louisiana picked it up, I think in '73 maybe.